This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening all. I'm Shashina Roll. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping News, the nation's leader addressing leading members of the Grand Bahama business community at the Grand Lucine Resort. The Prime Minister stating that his visit comes as this northern island is facing a new era of development. Joan Davis-Roll has our top story.
Under the theme A Bold Agenda, the next 25 years, this year's version of the Grand Bahama Business Outlook once again attracting the movers and shakers on this northern island. A cross-sector of the business community coming out to hear from the nation's chief executive, the Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Perry Christie. In the keynote address, the Prime Minister says, despite the challenges of the past, he remains optimistic about Grand Bahama's future. An island where the tourism sector continues to weather many storms, and an island destination said to be on the precipice of a new era.
Grand Bahama has demonstrated its resiliency as a tourism destination in 2015 by leading the country with a 33% tourism growth rate, thereby outpacing all other Bahamas destinations and exceeding the Bahamas average by more than 25%. New airlift, driven by our new partner, Sunwing, from both Canada and the USA markets, drove more than 50% of the growth. This was coupled with Memories, more than 1,100 beds, returning to Grand Bahama's inventory to service the increased demand levels. In a complementary fashion to Sunwing, Bahamas Paradise Cruise Lines took a bold step to acquire a 50% larger and newer ship and expanded their cruise and stopover program in 2015 to boost their delivery and garner a near 30% share of the incremental stopover visitors generated to Grand Bahama Island.
The Prime Minister stated that as they look to the future, they cannot do anything without the support of local stakeholders.
This is the time for you to take a stake, express an interest, be involved in what is taking place. Unlike any other island in our archipelago, Grand Bahama has the carrying capacity to manage a sustainable footprint for over 500,000 residents, and the infrastructure to support multiple and diversified development paradigms, benefiting not only the people of Grand Bahama, but the entire country.
His attention to the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, the Prime Minister says the government is committed to meeting the April deadline following 2 extensions. This as a special review committee appointed by the government moved to complete its work. He added that there are changes that must be considered to ensure Grand Bahama's success for generations unborn.
PharmaChem will soon announce its plans for a multi-million-dollar expansion and development of a new plant with tripling of its employment levels within the next 2 years. So again, ladies and gentlemen, the whole prospect of Grand Bahama as we have it in petrochemical, pharmaceutical, tourism, the industrial mix, the container port, it is now about shaking the tree and making it happen, and this is why we have to do it. And the government, therefore, asking the Parliament to give us an extension for 3 months. We know that this matter must be completed for us by the end of April or sooner, and most certainly, therefore, with respect to all of the developments that have been forecast.
Joan Davis-Roll, ZNS Network News.
In other news, the Bahamas has been nominated in 9 categories for the 23rd Annual World Travel Awards Caribbean region. Those categories include Caribbean's leading beach destination, cruise destination, cruise port destination, dive destination, honeymoon destination, luxury island destination, and romantic destination. Now, additionally, the Bahamas Ministry of Tourism has been nominated for the Caribbean's leading tourist board. Bahamians and fans of the islands of the Bahamas are encouraged to vote online at www.worldtravelawards.com/vote. Now, the deadline to vote is July 31st, 2016. Winners will be announced on September 17, 2016, and honored at the Caribbean and North America Gala ceremony at Sandals Ochi Beach Resort in Jamaica. Switching gears now, the Grand Bahama Port Authority preparing to host an
We thought it was important to introduce our licensees to the opportunities that exist in digital sales. The population in Grand Bahama is relatively small. Now, when you compare that to an online presence where you have in excess of 1 billion people shopping, there's really no comparison. So what we want to do is really encourage Bahamian businesses to consider engaging in cross-border trade to grow your consumer pool.
And of course, that was Derek Newbold from the Grand Bahama Port Authority talking about their plans to host an e-commerce workshop within a matter of weeks. Business Services Manager LaShawn Dane says interested persons can sign up for the e-commerce workshop beginning this Tuesday, March 22nd.
Because we're taking our local businesses to the e-environment, we are going to make all of the registration online. Persons coming out can expect to hear information on how to put together their e-marketing strategy. They're going to hear from marketing experts on how to develop that site, how to connect the payment platforms and get it ready to sell in the virtual environment. And then they're going to hear about marketing and social media and how that is your new best friend in getting your name out there, getting your brand out there, and engaging your consumer base.
Now, that e-commerce workshop is scheduled for April 6th and 7th at Pelican Bay's Canal House. For more information, you can contact the Grand Bahama Port Authority. In other news, progress being made at the Jack Hayward Junior School following a protest by some teachers at that institution. Last week, teachers and staff demonstrated outside the Ministry of Education office, charging unfair treatment at the hands of the leadership of that institution. Area Vice President Quinton LaRota says since then there has been some movement on this issue.
I was contacted by the superintendent and we agreed that we would have a meeting later on in that afternoon. And we had a very good meeting, I thought. It was blunt, it was to the point, it was very candid, and I fully expressed on behalf of the teachers at that institution the issues and the struggles they had with the way management was conducting themselves in terms of their leadership at the school.
Now, LaRota maintains that he supports the policies at the Ministry of Education, but it is about how policies are enforced.
I was also chided by some of them rightly for the actions I took in bringing the teachers there. And we could disagree on tactic. But what we have at the end of the day, we have an agreement that there was some challenges there, and those challenges need to be addressed. And the day after, the superintendent went there with a team of officials from education. They had a meeting with the staff. The staff got to express their concerns and their feelings. From what I understand, the principal made some promises in terms of how they would move forward, sort of a different approach in certain areas.
In news from the crime beat, 2 Grand Bahama brothers arraigned in the magistrate's court today on rape charges. 27-year-old Alexander Lightfoot and 20-year-old Vinto Lightfoot are accused of the rape of an 18-year-old woman that occurred last Saturday in the 8 Mile Rock area. Both accused appeared before Magistrate Charlton Smith. They were not required to enter a plea, and a preliminary inquiry is slated for July 7th. The brothers have been remanded at the Department of Corrections until the inquiry. Stay with us, there's more news right after this.